Hi everyone, in playing around with Hitfilm Express, I found a way to make quite an effective transition between two video clips using the quad warp effect. And so I thought I'd share this with you today, as you might like to utilise this in your own videos as well. To demonstrate my timeline, I've got two video clips, one on the planet Earth and one of a city flyover by night. What I'd like to do is see if we can try and utilise that transition between those two clips. At the moment, the overlap between them is around about 45 frames, but you can adjust it to suit your own requirements. First thing we need to do is come across the effects tab, type in the word quad warp and move that across to that first video clip like so. Move the timeline cursor so it's just at the beginning of that second clip. Come across to the left hand side. Where we've got that quad warp effect, you need to click both the top left part there and then the bottom left, and then click those two little circles. What that does, that puts two keyframes in our timeline. I'm just going to just stretch that out just a little bit just so you can see it clearer. Going to move that timeline cursor around about sort of 20 frames. Doesn't need to be exact, but around about 20. Now what we're going to do is reduce those coordinates down to 0 on all four of them like so. There's 2, there's 3, and there's 4. So when I move this manually now, what you can see is we start to sort of morph that first video there, and it sort of starts to stretch as well. But what we're going to do is add a little bit more to it than that. So I'm just going to move that timeline cursor back down to that original sort of second keyframe point, bring that bar down, and where we've got scale, I'm now going to click scale. So at the moment we're at 100%. Move that timeline cursor around about sort of 11-12 seconds, something like that. Doesn't need to be exact, and again you can play around to suit. Reduce the scale down to 0. So again, now when I manually move it, you can see there we both morph and then the scale reduces down. Furthermore, what we're going to do is just add an extra sort of effect as well. So bring it down just that little bit more. Where we've got opacity, click there, add another keyframe, move it to the same point where that scale reduces right down, and we're going to make that opacity so around about sort of 40%. So again now, when I move that timeline cursor, as you can see, we're reducing down, it starts to get that stretch effect, and it also begins to fade out like so. What we're going to do now is come back a little bit to bring that second video in. I'm just going to in fact zoom just that little bit more, just to make it work just that little bit more effectively between the two videos. What I'm going to do is come across the effects tab. This time we're going to do just a nice simple transition. So I'm just going to bring that little bar down, all the way down where it's got transitions video, where it's got dissolve, additive dissolve. I'm going to put that on across to that second video clip. So you're going to stretch it out just that a little bit. So now when I play it back for you, you can see the effect that we're going to get. And now when we add some dramatic music to it, and I'll play this in full screen now, you can see the overall effect for yourself. And there you go. It's a simple but rather unusual transition that you can have a lot of fun with by playing around with the various settings to get the best transition effect for your video clip. Anyway, hopefully this proved useful. If it did, then please give me that thumbs up. It helps others to find this video as well. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I'll catch up with you soon.